What's going on, good people? Rich here.
School in the building. What's happening?
It's your girl Ray P back on the mic. What's going on, fellas?
What's
Hey,
happening?
slow motion, man. Back at it again with another episode of the Culture Garden podcast.
We bite.
We appreciate everybody tuning in. I want to say real quick, it just feels good. We had last week off just to kind of recharge the batteries.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then School and myself had it done the week before because Ray P wasn't the best. As you can see, she's much better. You checking us out on YouTube.
Yeah.
Much better and all that, but we haven't been together collectively 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
it's good to be back talking movies with y'all. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you as always. We we can't do any of this without y'all. So we appreciate you coming back week after week to check us out, hear what we have to say about these films. Don't forget to check out the We Got Y'all feed as well. If you go to our link tree, which is in our description, as well as on our Instagram page, the Culture Garden Podcast. Our link tree is present. We have a We Got Y'all feed that is strictly for television. So we just like to go through different television shows. We did Harlem recently, as well as Your Honor. And we have another show that's coming up that's already on, but we're starting it next week. So I'll just drop that for y'all here shortly. But
absolutely. On a side note, sorry not to cut you off. On a side note, I want to shout out Ashley Says So. Man.
Shout out to you, Ashley.
I was about to say, that literally was the next thing on my thing.
My fault. We got a bunch of new subscribers, and I just want to shout them out. Welcome. You in for a journey. We love this shit, and you will see. So.
Yes. You want to explain what Ashley Says So does?
So Ashley Says So does a lot of old school gossip. Like I'm talking about the Temptations, Red Fox, anybody that was a celebrity from like the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. She collects the tea on them.
Got it.
Buddy old pal, that she has some tea on them.
You know what? That's funny. It sounds like it's almost like bringing that era into the social media age.
Yeah.
Something similar.
Yes.
That's dope. Shout out to Ashley Says So. We really appreciate you.
100%.
So that's love.
Yes.
That's love, man. Thank you, man. We like to show love to all podcasts as well because we know what the grind is like. If you're passionate about it, you consistent with it, we recognize that, we understand. One quick piggyback to what School said. If you are new to us, if you are a new follower, first of all, welcome. The whole purpose of this page is we want to make sure we give flowers to people within the culture, film specifically, as well as filmmakers, actors. I call everyone actors, men and women, because it's a skill set. The thespians, as Rachel like to say. That's what our role is. We realized there weren't enough people talking about movies like Five Heartbeats, and we did New Jersey Drive last week. We've done all types of stuff for the culture. But if this is your first time listening to us, you might look at the title and not only do we do the culture, like I said, that's the highlight. That's what we're going to do. Black films, films with black leads, whatever the case is, but we do this movie thing for real. And I take pride in that. I take pride in knowing School does it. I take pride in knowing Rachel does it. And I say that humbly, but I really do believe that we can talk movies with anybody and with the best of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It goes beyond the culture. There are certain movies that we're just going to talk about, universal classics, everything throughout the course of this podcast. So today is one of those. We've done No Country for Old Men. Today we're going to do Liar Liar. And this was School's choice.
Yeah.
Once again, if you're new, we just kind of rotate. Each one of us picks a movie each week, and we go from there. Sometimes we take requests from y'all, but this was School's pick, and he's been talking about it for a while. I want to do Liar Liar. I want to do Liar Liar. So let's get into it, man. What made you want to pick this film?
Liar Liar is in my top 10 classic,
top 10
comedy movies of all time.
Comedies?
Yes, okay. Comedies. I love this movie. I love Jim Carrey in this. If you know us, you know how we feel about Martin and his physical comedy. Jim Carrey is number 2 to me on that list. Jim Carrey in this movie brings it all, that physical comedy. And what I really love about it is after he did a lot of Ace Ventura, those goofy ass, silly ass movies, he wanted to show I can act and I can be a real person. And that's what he does in this film, bro. He brings it. It's my shit.
Listen, man, I know that before I even get into first experiences, Rachel, I got a question for you. Because I know you very well. And Rachel, I've always said, and I really like genuinely mean this. Like, I admire the way Rachel like watches everything, from television to film. Like, she watches everything. But one thing I do know about her, she's not watching like no Marvel shit, no comic book shit, and goofy shit is not really her avenue.
It's not.
Rachel. So, I was actually I'm not going to say I was surprised, but I was interested to know that you were going to do this film with us, because I know this isn't your lane. So what do you think about films like this, Jim Carrey as a whole? Like, what were your thoughts?
Okay, well, first off, I just want to backtrack. I have seen Black Panther, both of them. So
okay, my bad.
In the Marvel universe.
you MCU, my bad.
Right.
And I'll leave it there because I was about to lie. So
see, just like you said, you good at
right. I like Jim Carrey. I actually love Jim Carrey for his physical comedy, and Living Color, all of that shit. What is it? The Grinch? That's my shit.
Yes.
Okay, then.
Yes.
But when I do not, as goofy and as funny as I am, I do not like ridiculous ass shit. So it was a struggle. But I remember liking this movie when I was younger, when it came out. What year?
97.
So maybe I haven't seen it in 20 years. Okay. So I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, and I recognized, and it wasn't that Jennifer Tilly, like, nobody put on a bad performance. So it's not that. It's just not my judge for entertainment.
Okay.
But it's a feel good movie. Funny. Okay. Parts were funny. That's it.
Okay. All right then. I think
we'll accept that.
Real quick, just to piggyback. One thing about this film is, and I've said this before about films we've done from the 90s. Mm-hmm. It was just a different time, like overall. Like and what I mean by different time is just the way they even made films. Like, this Liar Liar is not made in 2023. It's just not. Like, a studio's not buying that. It's a waste of their time or money. Mm-hmm. You probably catch it on Netflix, like a Netflix original or something. Yeah. It wouldn't have somebody like Jim Carrey. It would have like a smaller version role or something like that. But I love the fact that I can look at this and just instantly go back to a time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing that does go over for me, like the nostalgia piece of it.
Okay.
Is for, I constantly ask the question, I wonder how people who were my age then would feel about this movie today. Like, if I found a 10-year-old right now, because I was 10 when this came out when I first saw it. Yeah. If I found a 10-year-old right now, I wonder what they would think about this film. And I don't know if it carries over like that.
I don't think so. These kids are
different. It still holds up. It's not as, there's another movie. I'll just mention it real quick. I told school about this a few months ago. There's another movie that I really like, and I do like Liar Liar still. Mm-hmm. Maybe not as much as I did in the 90s, but I still love this film. Mm-hmm. Another movie that I watched recently, and I was like, damn, I remember liking this more, was Meet the Parents. Like, I love Meet the Parents, like, all the time. And I watched it, and I'm like, maybe it's me. So I'm giving it a little space, because I'm like, maybe I was just in a mood that day or doing stuff and wasn't focused in. But I can understand how those older movies can have that effect where you remember loving them and then revisit them. That's the key, I think, to what you said.
Yeah.
So many years later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Mm-hmm. I can go for that, but I don't feel that way. It's my shit.
Clearly, I'm not mad at it.
This my shit. I fucks with this movie.
So let's talk about first experiences real quick. I do want to talk about the synopsis for those who haven't listened. Also, I guess I should say, I always forget to say this. If you haven't seen this movie, even though it came out in 97, pause, go watch it, come back. There will be some
Prime.
Yeah,
it's on Tubi as well.
Prime. Yep, we're gonna talk about it. Synopsis is a pathological lawyer finds his career turned upside down when he inexplicably cannot physically lie for 24 whole hours. We'll get into the cast shortly, but first experience, school. Do you remember when you first saw it?
Yes, I saw it in my living room. Mom's bought this movie. I guess she saw it. I didn't realize how much money this movie made, so it was a big ass hit. Okay. I was about 8, so I really don't remember seeing it until Mom's brought it home. I don't even know if I snuck and watched it, but I remember watching it, and that was it. I fell in love with it and watched it 2,800,000 times with this fool. So
yeah. I know my first experience was in the theater.
Okay.
Definitely in the theater. I remember being in the theater with pops, with moms. Like we went to go see this.
Okay.
I think that In Living Color probably had a lot to do with that because I don't know if pops was watching like The Mask or anything, but Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber, yes, that was your pop shit.
Yeah, and mine. Like that's my favorite. Real quick, let me side note. What's your favorite Jim Carrey performance, Rachel? Or movie, I guess. It doesn't have to be performance, but just your favorite Jim Carrey.
Either Truman Show or The Grinch.
Okay, that's cool.
I was gonna say movie, Liar Liar, performance, The Truman Show.
My movie, not even close for me, is Dumb and Dumber. Like not even close. And I love Jim Carrey, like in all his stuff. But when I say Dumb and Dumber, like the way School said, Liar Liar's top 10 comedy for him, Dumb and Dumber top 10. Like I get weak at that movie the same way I get weak at Martin. Okay. Like as far as like I can watch it. Oh, not the same style. What I mean.
I know.
What I'm saying is I can watch it 1,000,000 times and still laugh like I've never seen it before. The same way I do with Martin. I love that stupid shit.
Yes.
It's so dumb, man. We're not talking about
speechless.
We'll talk about that
speech.
Rachel, you like Soul Plane just like me. Come on now.
I do like Soul Plane.
And I can't get with it.
It's so ridiculous. I don't know. I guess it's just a different level of ridiculousness. I don't remember the first time I saw Liar Liar. It had to have been like by the time it came on TV.
Okay.
Unless my dad took me to the drive-in or something to see it. But
it's definitely like a TNT TBS classic.
Yeah, USA.
Yes.
So that might be it. I don't remember my first watch, but I had seen it. I knew that and had seen it multiple times. So at some point I was entertained by it, but it's not for me.
Curiosity. Let me ask you real quick. What do you feel about the older Adam Sandler movies, like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore? Are you a fan of those at all?
No.
Okay.
I like
Big Daddy?
I love Big Daddy.
Okay, so I'm all right. So I figured that one would kind of be your move, which is kind of curious as to I thought this might have been
me too.
My bag.
It's a little bit more serious. I knew you didn't like The Mask or Cable Guy or stuff like that, but I figured this would be what School said, like more of a more toned down human version. Of Jim Carrey. Okay, that's fair.
We could get into an Adam Sandler conversation in another episode, but I like Adam Sandler movies.
Okay, then. All right.
Which after I just talked all that shit about Jim Carrey, but his brand of like stupid shit I can deal with.
Okay, then. School, is this a classic or not?
Come on, man. You know what I'm gonna say. Hell yeah.
Rachel?
No.
It's a classic. It's a classic. I don't want to. I guess I can't overemphasize, especially to anyone who's younger than us. When I mean significantly younger, like maybe a decade or 10, 15 years younger, how big Jim Carrey was and how big this movie was at the time. And how much School mentioned it. We'll get into the stats here in a moment, but how much money this movie made, like, and just Jim Carrey's like rise. He shot out like, I mean, you can really, when you talk about, I don't want to say from nowhere, but from nowhere to superstar. He had one of the quickest.
Well, it also goes back to that. If you ever seen the Wayans brother episode that we did, we talked about how people were talking to Keenan Ivory Wayans about getting the cast of Living Color back together. And he was talking his shit like, yo, it's Oscar winners and like it's a crazy cast. You know what I mean? And Jim Carrey came from the culture. He came from the culture. So
he did. And that's the thing. You're absolutely right, School. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm shitting on him because I actually really, really enjoy him. He is an ally. He still fuck with niggas to this day. Like he did not get brand new with everything that he accomplished thereafter. He's still 10 toes down. So I do want to tip my hat to that and honor him.
Yeah. and SNL wouldn't give him a chance. That's the fucked up part.
Crazy.
That's how it be. But he come over, man. He still get a Wayans love.
Yeah.
All types of stuff. We know what it is. This just ain't your movie. It's like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it ain't your movie.
It'd be like that.
It'd be like that sometimes. Quick stats. Released March 21st, 1997. My new favorite thing to ask y'all. Don't be cheating either when I ask y'all this question. I'll be trying to look this shit up before we record. How long was this movie in the theaters? Y'all should know by now. This is a 90s movie.
38 weeks, man.
Rachel?
40 weeks.
On the money, 40 weeks. 286 days. It was number 1 for 7 weeks. Dang. Which is nuts for a comedy.
Crazy.
There's a little bit of like other research that says Anaconda knocked it off after 3 weeks. It never fell lower than number 5 in the whole run that it had.
Damn.
So all the movies that came out in that cycle, like it never dropped from number 5. People were like going to see this. It was directed by Tom Shadyac. Me and School talked about him in the Nutty Professor episode, not in detail, but he kind of was the same way as Jim Carrey. When you talk about somebody who's young and up and coming, just kind of shot out of nowhere. He had a TV movie in 91 called Frankenstein in the College Years. It was whatever. But after that, he had Ace Ventura, Nutty Professor, Liar Liar, and Patch Adams back to back.
Crazy.
You know, so you're working with Jim Carrey, Eddie Murphy, Jim Carrey again, then Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And at the time, he's in his, I think he was born, he's a few years older than us.
He was in his mid-30s.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, so it was kind of wild. But he also had Bruce Almighty and the Brian Banks, which is random. But the Brian Banks story with Aldous Hodge, he directed that as well. Written by Paul Guay and Stephen Mazur. Stephen Mazur is a lawyer, so that kind of played a role into some of the writing in this film, especially towards the end. Had a budget of an estimated $45 million and made $302.7 million worldwide.
Insane.
Flipped 45 to 302. Nuts. I can't emphasize that enough. 31.4 million the opening weekend. As School and Rachel said earlier, is streaming on Prime Video and Tubi. You said right?
Yes.
Okay, got you.
Side note as well, Jim Carrey was making about 20 million a movie at this point.
And in the 90s, which was
that
was like Tom
crazy.
Cruise, Will Smith area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. So I don't know what that would be equivalent to today.
That's crazy because if you think about it, he hadn't even done a serious movie yet. He was doing Ace Venturas.
But the thing about it, and we'll get into the cast and talk about Jim Carrey. The thing about him is his movies make so stupid money at the box. These movies, man, The Mask shouldn't have made as much money as it made. You get what I'm saying? Dumb and Dumber shouldn't have been as much as a success as it is. Like that movie is dumb as shit.
Yep.
I'll be the first to admit it, but that's still top 10 comedy for me because of how dumb it is and how like into it they are. They do not shy away from how stupid they are.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we ain't talking about Dumb and Dumber today. Man. Anyway, we got Jim Carrey as Fletcher Reed in Living Color for 5 seasons. So that's where he kind of gets his start. He did like this early movie that was trash as well. It was like a 48-minute movie, a TV movie. In Living Color, Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, all in 1994. All right, so he had the last season of him in Living Color, Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. That's in 94 by itself. Batman Forever and Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls in 95. The Cable Guy in 96 was and then he has Liar Liar 97, Truman Show 98. And then we don't even get into Bruce Almighty and Grinch Who Stole Christmas and everything else he did after that. But just that early run is insane.
Yeah.
Insane. You have Maura Tierney as Audrey Reed. Rachel, she was the DA in season 1 of Your Honor.
Yes.
Amanda Donahoe as Miranda. Jennifer Tilly as Samantha Cole. Justin Cooper as Max Reed. Carrie Elwes as Jerry. He actually got this role by chance. School, did you see how he got this?
No.
Literally got this role by chance. He bumped into Jim Carrey in Hollywood. And he was actually talking to Tom Shadyac at the time. And he bumped into him and said, "Hey, man, what y'all working on?" He said, "Oh, we actually got this movie. You might actually be good for it. You want to be in it?" He said, "Yeah." He joined the cast without even reading the script. He said, "Cool."
Wow.
He accepted on the spot.
Hey, be like that.
Yeah, so he played the role of Jerry. Anne Haney as Greta. Jason Bernard as Judge Marshall Stevens. As we said earlier, this podcast was created for the culture. So even when we have films like this, I'm gonna make sure we highlight the brother that the brother got going on. So Jason Bernard, unfortunately, he passed on the last day of filming.
Yes. His last performance. Yep.
Yeah, the last day of those. So he never even get a chance to see it. But he has been in the game since 1969. He had been in the game in like a ton of TV spots, guest roles. Starsky and Hutch. He was in Wilma, MASH, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, The Jeffersons, Night Court, Cosby Show, Amen, and he was in Car Wash, the film with Richard Pryor and George Carlin. So he's been in a lot. Want to give that brother his flowers. He had a heart attack unexpectedly. Just sad to hear, but I really enjoyed his role with Jason Bernard in this film. So give that man his flowers. Shout out to him. Let's get into some awards. 6 nominations and 4 wins. Won the 1998 ASCAP Award for top box office film. Winner of the Blockbuster Entertainment Award for favorite actor in a comedy, Jim Carrey. MTV Award for best comedic performance, Jim Carrey. And People's Choice Award for favorite comedy motion picture. Notably, I want to make sure I'll let y'all know it was nominated for a Golden Globe for best performance by an actor in a motion picture or musical. I think, who was it? Jack Nicholson won that year in that category. But there's a lot of good nominees for that. I think Sam was nominated for Jackie Brown.
What did he win for?
As good as it gets.
Okay,
as good as
figured as much.
Yeah. As far as the origin of this film, we talked about Paul Guay and Stephen Mazur, who wrote it. They actually wrote this script in 1994. The original story was supposed to be about a scumbag real estate agent who lied to clients about houses. And it was originally written for Steve Martin. So it was later rewritten. They call it a script doctor in Hollywood. He didn't get credited, but later on, this script was rewritten by Judd Apatow, which I'm sure if you're a comedy fan, you know Judd Apatow. Yes. He rewrote it. He's the one that made the character a lawyer, and he's the one that, because when it was written for Steve Martin was supposed to be married still, but it was a bad marriage, and he was supposed to have multiple kids. Judd Apatow flipped it and said, let's make him a lawyer, let's make him divorced, and let's make him like no older than 35. So he had like a Michael Myers, Jim Carrey, Eddie Murphy type in his head. Okay, like that's who can play this. That's who I have in his playing his role. It's ironic because Michael Myers turned down this movie so he can do Austin Powers. Jim Carrey wanted to do Dr. Evil in Austin Powers, but turned it down to do Liar Liar.
Wow.
Flip-flop roles. And his only condition, Jim Carrey, his only condition to do Liar Liar was, well, you got to get my guy, man. I mean, my guy just did Ace Ventura. We made all types of buku money. I'll do the movie, but you got to get Tom Shadyac. And he used his pool, used his weight, and that's how he got this role, or got the director spot. There are some similarities in this episode, or in this movie, to an episode of The Twilight Zone. There's an episode called The Whole Truth. It's about a used car salesman that he comes in possession of this car, and for as long as he owns it, he has to tell the truth. Like there's a direct reference between the raise, like when Greta asked for a raise, he said he couldn't do it and told that story. That was like directly from that episode. So there was some inspiration from The Twilight Zone. Okay. And School mentioned it earlier, like Jim Carrey really was excited because he wanted to play a regular role. He didn't want to be over dramatic. He didn't want to wear the makeup and do all that. And ironically, he was like, this was one of the most exhausting roles I've ever had, just from all the physical comedy that he went through. So yeah, a little bit of origin about it. I think it's time to get into best scenes.
Let's get it.
All right, man. School. Let's get into it, man.
All right.
Let's talk about why you love this movie so much.
Man, okay, so this is a rare movie for me, at least, in the sense of I feel like there are no bad scenes. Like this movie, from beginning to end, every scene is fire. From the jump, the first scene I got is I'm gonna start with this one when he's late picking up his son. Just as a kid whose parents were separated, I've been on that stoop waiting on my dad. Every car, nah, that ain't him. Nah, that ain't him. Then when he pull up, he come in like he ain't late. What's up? And your whole world changed. He gets so excited. You just so happy to see your pops. And of course, Jim Carrey style, he acts a fool. You know. Hey, what he say? I got my glad I had my 9 because it's a rough neighborhood. You know, just little stuff like that, man. Jim Carrey's a legend, man.
Yeah, man. It's funny because that's one of my favorite quotes when he said that, like, with my mind on my money.
My money on my mind.
She looked at him and said, "Don't worry, Fletcher. They wouldn't hurt you. You're their
lawyer." Hey,
absolutely. I got that opening scene as well, mainly because y'all should know me by now. Liar Liar is not to be taken seriously, and I lied. Rachel's standpoint, it's 88 minutes long. It's kind of one of those get to the point movies. So I love a film that knows exactly what to tell us right at the opening. I knew everything I need to know about these characters from the jump.
Get
it all even from meeting Jerry.
Yep.
Like I know about their relationship. I know about everybody's relationship and what they got going on. I know Jerry going to Boston. I know that within the first 6-7 minutes of the film.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me that. So I really appreciate them putting that all on the table, man. And like you said, the claw, everything, that whole experience, like it's just a big deal. The claw was a big thing from this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huge thing.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Yes, it was.
Listen, you got a comment? Listen, Rachel trying to come up with content.
It's okay.
I too had that opening scene.
I also like the realness of the scene. You know, even though Fletcher and Audrey are no longer together, he still loves her. He still has love for her. He's still jealous. You know, when Jerry, when Jerry pulls up and they kiss, and he's like, "Image deleted." Like just dope, man.
Yeah.
Like Jerry, man. Jerry, like he called that man Magoo.
Called him Magoo.
Yeah, man. He little, hey, man.
Hey. The whole, and then you find out things in that scene that obviously Fletcher was cheating on Audrey a lot. He's talking about, I thought after me, you couldn't have, you know, you would be all worn out. He's talking about, you got to figure, I wasn't having sex as much as you were. Like, and the ref takes a point away. Like, he was quick with it, man.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about this film now, watching it as I'm older, how much I caught myself like really not liking Fletcher, like in the first 15 minutes, which I know this film isn't for that, but I've seen it so many times as a youngin'. That watching it as a 36-year-old man, I'm like, damn, man, Fletcher, you really a piece of shit, bro. Like,
you didn't know that you weren't supposed to like him.
You said what?
You didn't know that he was an unlikable character as a child.
No.
You know? He just was the funny dad who maybe was making some missteps. But as an adult, she like, yo, this nigga's trash.
Yeah. And I think it's a credit to Jim Carrey that he's still good enough to that you do like him. Because it didn't last for long, but it was more so just like you really like talking to reporters instead of going to pick up your son on time. You really about to let, and it ties into that opening scene. Like you have Jerry who comes in right away, like that can wait. Like I made a promise to this young guy. You got some time to throw a ball. You see how attentive he is and how intentional he is with Max. And Fletcher just on some like whatever, like it is what it is.
Shadyac, the director, also said that he didn't want to keep hurting Max in the movie. Like he made a point of like, how many times are we going to let Fletcher hurt Max? Because this could have turned into, you know, like you said, fuck Fletcher.
Yeah.
You know, as a parent, I'm like, yo, this nigga was trash. Straight up,
he was trash, man. Like not going to wrestling on his, like missing a birthday party for some.
He could have told them no. If you was that close to being a partner, you had a little pool, man.
You got a little pool.
Yeah, you could have told them, nah, man.
Yeah, you don't have to explain yourself, but even if you did, you got to hell of an explanation. It's my son's birthday. It's his 5th birthday. Like I gotta go. What you talking about?
That part. That part.
Like even if it's for a few hours, I'll come back and do this later.
Yeah.
3-4 hours so I can go kick it with my son.
That part.
You know, that 5 years old, you probably go to bed at 7:30.
That's for real.
Like, right. 8 at the latest.
Let me jump into a scene real quick. And this kind of goes into something I was saying earlier before we started recording.
Yeah.
Shadyac was mentioning how in the process of making this film, they had to take into account like, hey, we have to be creative, which helps that you have Jim Carrey, but it's kind of a one joke film.
Yes.
Like the flip is he can't lie. So we know the premise is that everything he says is the truth. How do we keep this interesting and fresh? And I just want to go into the first time he can't lie. Like that I've had better.
Man.
Yeah.
When she asked him, that was great. How was it for you? Because you see the progression of him not knowing what's going on. Like, why did I just say that?
Yeah.
And then gradually thinking like, especially the toothbrush when he brushing his teeth and looked up and started chuckling like, I've had better. Like,
I've had better.
Because after a while he was like, I meant that shit. I have had better.
We've all been in those situations. Not necessarily that with sex, but just something where you like, yo, I really did say that shit. I said that.
And I just love how, if we're all being honest with ourselves, how much trash we really be on. Like how much we have to filter ourselves every single day from saying exactly what we mean. And I love how this movie just kind of explored that, especially in the opening. Like it was Shadyac described it as Tourette's of the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, one thing about this, I meant to say this earlier, and I'm sure School knows because he watched the commentary as well. Shady, they did something unusual with the filming of this, where they did it in sequence. Because as you see, it gets worse. Like the Tourette's of the truth gets worse as the movie goes on. Jim Carrey as an actor had to build up to that. So they did it in sequence versus like we have this set in this location for X amount of days. They just kept coming back, which is unorthodox, like I said. But I loved how he just was catching himself. I was like, what? And it made me think about myself, like, how many times do I want to say some wild shit? And I just say, I just don't. Like, if I had this curse, man, it might be a bad thing.
It would be a bad thing. I had wrote down, like, Fletcher was just telling unnecessary ass lies every day, you know, even in the, not necessarily the opening, but his first conversation with Audrey, like, nigga, y'all not together. You can just say that you was busy. You can just say you got tied up, like all the extra. You don't need that shit. Like, so which scene I did have is the actual true opening with what's the song's name?
Oh, Max?
With Max in school when he's telling the teacher, you know, my dad's a liar for a living. I thought that was adorable. One, because kids just be saying fucking anything. Food. That shit is the truth. And how many times have liars and lawyers been, you know, put together? So
I've always thought that was very creative. Like even now, when I open that meeting, like my dad's a liar or a lawyer. Like I just love how they put that together.
Yes, absolutely. Another scene is just like you said, Rachel. Just the beginning of it, just showing you how he lies on a daily basis, and not even it's not necessary. Like when he sees old boy whose name he can't remember. My name, I know, man. Like instead of just saying like, what's your name again, bro? Like, hey, man, my name's Tom. Oh yeah, I know.
like Steve Harvey said, man, we lie when the truth will do.
Yes,
in reference to men.
Yeah.
I just had to throw the oop to
her. And then Greta giving him that list, giving him just naming off stuff. Hey, your mom called. Are you in town? No. Like just those little lies, man. Why, Fletcher?
Unnecessary ass lies.
He needed a wake up call.
Straight up.
What you got for scene next?
Oh, okay. So after he picks up, or excuse me, when Audrey and Jerry come to pick up Max after you know he spends his birthday with him, when they're out, he's holding the coffee cup and he gives him the baseball stuff, and how Jerry is so excited, obviously more excited than I'm sorry, Fletcher.
Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry, the boyfriend.
Okay, Jerry,
Audrey's boyfriend.
Gotcha. Okay.
How excited he was over the gift that Fletcher had got him. Well, Greta.
I'm about to say Greta got him.
Yeah.
I can't even remember his son's fucking birthday. What a father. We really ain't supposed to like this dude
at all.
But I love when he tells him like I'm being successful in pushing my son and Jerry closer. Like, sheesh, that's horrible.
Yeah, I think you might be alone on that one. Nah, I do fuck with that scene though, but just for that reason, just because Jerry's like a clown. Like he just like he punchable perfect. Like, bro, you not this perfect, bro. I promise you. Like,
super lame.
I would hire a PI on Jerry. Okay. I gotta know what your thing is, bro. Like, what's your dirt?
When he was hitting them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see that?
And
he struck
one for good luck.
You see that? He struck a kid.
Like nobody's like that, is there? Like somebody like that. He a Chick-fil-A worker. Like he a manager.
Yeah, he a nice guy. He's really a nice guy, man.
Nah, like seriously, man. Like overly nice. Like, come on, bro. You gotta have something. Like I said, I'm hiring a PI. Greta quits. I got that scene.
Oh yeah.
Same with Greta quits, just because it goes into watching it now. It's like obvious. I'm like, bro, do not tell anybody that you can't do this, because my biggest fear was somebody asked me some shit I can't lie about. She went straight for it. Like, yeah, you said I couldn't get no bread. What's up?
Yep.
And he told the truth. And her packing up her stuff. And I love my favorite part of that whole scene is when she turns around and tells him about the story about the friend, you know, stabbed themselves. He sued her and he won. She had to pay him $6,000. Is that fair? He said, no. I got him 10. And then it's the look on his face. It's the that opening of his mouth, bro. Like I'm a G out here. What you talking about? Is that fair? I got him 10 rats.
I'd have got him 10
yeah,
today.
Man, I'm Fletcher Reed. What you talking about?
Hey,
6,000. Yeah, man. Fire that man.
Did her dirty, man.
I got that scene.
Go ahead.
Well, my very next and final scene is is Fletcher letting everybody have it in the boardroom where a homegirl tried to set him up with the partners. Like, nah, he smoked that shit.
Best scene in the movie.
Killed it.
Best scene in the movie. Would you agree with that? Or?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's the best scene in the movie.
Absolutely.
You want to get into it now?
Go ahead.
So, shout out to Mr. Allen,
mm-hmm.
the guy, the boss in there. That he's played by Mitchell Ryan, born in Cincinnati, Ohio. You want to shout that out?
The nasty natty.
Yeah, man. He grew up in Louisville, but born in Cincinnati. But yeah, man, that was Miranda was really trying to end his whole career because she gave up some mid, and he told her about it, even if he didn't mean to. I can't she really tried to end him, and took him in there. And I love the fact that the common theme, the truth will set you free for real.
Yeah,
tell the truth. You never know how the truth will trust me. Trust me, you never know how it lands, and more times than not, it lands in your favor. I'll see you later, dickhead. Him going around the room just roasting everybody,
killing shit,
improvising. And what's really impressive about that scene is that they did a ton of takes. They just kept that same intensity. Because one thing for us as viewers that people realize when you're making a film, after a while, them jokes
get stale.
Yeah, they get stale. Like you heard them over there. Yes, they were funny when I first heard it, but if we're gonna take 15 and that shit ain't as funny, now I really got to act and really fake laugh and all that other shit. But Jim Carrey brought it every time, improv, different lines, the whole nine. So the way he took that toupee off the wall, I don't know if that's racist or not.
Hey, that was improvised.
Well, it was very white,
huh? I don't know. That part was racist. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do the noise. Yeah, I don't know if that was or not. Hopefully it wasn't, but that's why I'm not speaking on it. But yeah, the way he laughed in her ear on the way out, all of it, all kinds.
He got her.
I love that scene.
I like the honest walkthrough. When earlier we saw him walk through and he was being all fake, and then that second time he walked through, how you like my dress? He said, whatever takes the focus off of your head. What's up, Fletcher? Your cholesterol, fatty.
Dead man walking. That's foul, man. Come on, man. HR would have been on his ass.
Hey, man, you're not important enough to remember, huh?
100%.
No, I said
HR would have been on his ass. 100%.
He would have been on his ass. What can I get for you? A pop mark eventually, man. Hey,
the you're not important enough to remember is hilarious.
Because it'd be like that. Yeah. We all got that person.
That's really what he wanted to say. He wanted to say that to him for weeks. Like, I do not remember your name, bro. You can tell me every single day. I'm going to forget that shit. You are not important to me. Stop speaking to me, matter of fact.
That's crazy.
Oh, snap, man.
Y'all ain't got the red pen scene?
Nah, I ain't got that.
Y'all ain't fuck with it?
Back in the day, yeah. But like I said, a lot of you love this film. I love it. I love it, but you love it more than me and Rachel.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. I got one. Fletcher wins the case.
Oh, yes.
Fletcher winning the case because, like I said, one of the writers is a actual lawyer and kind of help with that scene. Like, all right, then this is one way they could kind of get out of it. And it is true, the prenuptial agreement, she was a minor, the contract will be void, but him finding that out and finally using the truth to get out of it and win his case.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. And I know they went back and forth on keeping the claps. When they actually clapped for him in the courtroom, they did test runs. They didn't know if they should keep it in the film, but the audience was actually clapping it while they were watching it. So they're like, all right, we're going to keep it in.
Yeah,
it was impressive. It was just impressive. I love clever writing and twisting and turns and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that scene, but a little bit, that whole court scene, honestly, like just him not being able to really ask a question if it's a lie, but this time he was objecting himself and man, he was doing his thing, bro. The physical comedy in that scene. Woo, you made her squeal, didn't you? Every time you met up with her, like just, bro. Jim was on this thing, man. He was doing his thing, man.
He was on his ass for real.
Yeah.
I'm weaker at y'all retelling this shit than the whole time I rewatched this movie.
Hey, you funny, man.
I love how much y'all enjoy it.
Yeah, I got one more. I don't know how many you got, so I don't know if you want to go.
The last one I have is just him trying to get out of all of this and kicking his own ass. The restroom scene.
Yeah.
And the best part about it is when he comes back in and he describes himself. When they ask him what he looks like, 6'2", about 180 pounds, gritty teeth, a man at the end of his ropes, like.
Yeah, man, that reminds me of course, Rich always gonna find a way to bring The Wire into it. But that reminds me of season 5 of The Wire, when, for those who've seen it, McNulty made up this whole fake serial killer, and they go to the furthest extent of even asking the FBI to do a profile of what this serial killer would be, and they describe McNulty like to a T. Like, so that kind of reminds me. I love stuff like that. I love when they just like, oh man, like they on to me. You said that was your last one?
Yeah, that's it.
The last scene I have is the apology scene to Max. When Fletcher is on the stretcher. Oh, bars, nigga. When Fletcher's on the stretcher, man, and he gives the apology to Max, and it's just kind of that's the heart of it. Like I said, Jim Carrey's charming enough to where we enjoy him and his performance, and he's funny, but he still is a terrible father. Love the fact that he admitted it in the scene at the tow yard. Like, I'm a bad father.
Yeah,
but him finally realizing, like, this is what life is about. Like, I got a kid. Like, like, think about this, man. She described him when they talked about moving to Boston. She was like, Fletcher's never going to come to Boston. Like, that lets you know this man ain't going to come to Boston to see his son.
Right.
Like, he's really a scumbag.
I mean, there's a point in the movie where he didn't know if he loved his son. Remember, he said, I love my son. He was like, dig that. I love my son. Like, this man was a piece of shit.
Yeah, man. Like, that's weird. I really do want to see Max.
I really do want to see Max.
Yeah. Like, I mean, listen, I ain't gonna say that. I'm about to say some ill shit. Nah, I'm just saying. I'm sure if I was a full-time parent or something, I'm not a parent at all. But if I was a full-time parent, I'm sure there'd be a day I'm like, man, I don't feel like seeing this. Never mind, man. I'm trying to think of what else I had to say about that scene. Yeah, just the overall apology, man. I just loved it. I just loved that he got his son back, man, and Jerry had to step to the side, and only Jerry would have went for that. I'd have loved to see the black version of this. Like, what would the boyfriend have done? Like, I don't know if I'm moving to the side that quick, bro.
What can you
do? You can run me this check for this ticket. 2 of them, matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll reimburse you.
All right, cool.
But but what else?
That ain't nothing. That ain't no problem.
He's a successful lawyer who was a scumbag, so he got bread. What are we talking about?
Nah, I'm just on some like, bro, like I'm about to we was on the plane, like not about to get on the plane. We was already on the plane going to Boston, bro. You just gonna wreck my whole life like this? We gotta have a talk.
You gonna fight me in front of my son?
I just told you I love
you. I'm gonna beat your ass in front of your son. What are you talking about? What? That's the best type of ass whooping to give out in front of your child. Think I'm whooping your ass? What?
Not me, this good corny man.
I know.
Who's just so happy to have someone who likes me in a built-in family. What are you gonna do? It was nothing but Jerry to do but step aside.
Yeah,
I know. Listen, Jerry did the right. I like it, man. He did the right thing. I'm just saying, even though we wouldn't let that happen to me though. I'm just saying it wouldn't have been that easy.
Okay. The woman that you love does not love you back. Not in the same way.
Now that's the biggest issue. He should have been
all over the whole movie. It was signs were there.
It was clear.
That's the biggest.
Doing some shit.
All right. Best quotes. Ray, you got any quotes written down?
No.
Okay.
I've had better.
I've had better. It's comedy, bro.
Yeah, that shit.
The way he looked at the way he was brushing his teeth, I realized, like, you know what? I've had better. Go ahead, Scott. What you got for best quotes?
I got, I can't lie. I've had better. Stop breaking the law, asshole. How's it hanging, Fletcher? Short, shriveled, and always to the left. Jordan fades back, swoosh, and that's the game. I'm kicking my own ass. Do you mind? That's about it.
You know what's funny? I just realized something. Like I said, I love this movie. The nostalgia got a grip on you because those are all the same best quotes I had when I was young. Like my quote list has completely changed. Like watching this movie. Oh, I already mentioned something I never even picked up on when I was a kid. Well, they will never hurt you, Fletcher. You're the lawyer. That line's hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Hey man, because that's real. Where would Tina Turner be if she just rolled over?
Yeah, see, I ain't like none of that Tina shit.
Hey, man, it's not. Hey, that shit ignorant, man.
Like, what the fuck?
Oh my
This
goodness.
white man talking about my queen.
Hey, man, that shit's so ignorant. Said put some stank on it,
rolling
man.
on the river. That's hilarious.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't like it either, but that shit's so ignorant, man.
Hey.
When the judge came in, all rise for the honorable judge. He said, honorable. And the way he looked at a woman, he said, nah, right there.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset about a bad sexual experience I had last night. When what was Jennifer Tilly's name? What was her name?
Jennifer Tilly, Samantha Cole.
Samantha Cole. Well, Samantha Cole and the dude that Mr. Falk, when they were trying to get Fletcher's attention after he was talking to Max, Mr. Reed. Like I do that often, like Mr. Reed. When somebody trying to get my attention, like shut up. Damn, I heard you. Do you remember Mr. Falk from the tape? How could I forget? And then my last scene I had is the fact that my client has been written more than the Seattle Slew is irrelevant. They was in here fooling with the quotes of the movie. Hey. Oh shit, man. Rachel, you funny.
Clown.
Rachel, you got a scene stealer for us?
What? Jennifer Tilly, just because I really just love her voice. I love her.
Yeah, she killed it. School, what you got?
I got Greta.
Greta
did her thing. Tom Shadyac said that one of the things about doing comedy movies is you need grounded actors around a comedian. We talked about it in the Will Smith episode when we was talking about Men in Black. Tommy Lee Jones felt the way because he couldn't get no comedy off. He felt like, I can make y'all laugh too. And he's like, no, you're going to be good being straight. Like, we just need you to stay straight. It's going to play well.
Yeah,
so,
and he was hilarious.
He was hilarious.
Straight man. Like, he was comedy.
Yep. So, yes.
No, that was good. That was a great point. I was just trying to think of Tommy Lee Jones like in a comedic way. I really can't. He has excellent timing and like he can have a couple one-liners, but
hold on. Did y'all ever see the one? Oh snap!
I know what you about.
The one where he was protecting the cheerleaders in Texas.
Knew it.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Rachel, do you know what I'm talking about? What
yes, I can't. It's escaping me.
It's escaping me
I think it was
but have either one of you ever seen it?
Hell no.
That used to come on all the time, like back at H.H. Greg.
You seen it? You liked it?
I can't say I liked it or not, but it was Tommy Lee Jones in a comedic role. It wasn't as weird as I thought it would be.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't as weird as I thought it'd be.
Got you.
What's your scene stealer?
That's a good question. I want to go with Jason Bernard.
I knew it.
I want to go with Jason Bernard for the same reason.
Not bad.
For the same reason, School said you can't have those over the top court scenes without somebody who's going to keep it grounded.
Yeah,
he was believable.
Perfect.
Like he, especially coming out from Doing Your Honor with Rachel and We Got Y'all. Like he was a judge that was, I believed he was stern. I believe that he didn't really care for Fletcher's ways, but in fairness of the court, like I'm gonna allow some of this bullshit.
Yeah,
he just kind of held it down. He was like that calming factor, and that like at the end when he was scolding him,
oh man,
I felt that like I one more word and you be holding like he was believable.
Yes.
What did he say?
Shut up. Shut up. But that's what I'm going with. I like Jennifer Tilly. She was incredible in this film.
Yes.
I like Harry Elwes. Like I like him in this film. I like Jerry. I like a lot of people. Greta, she was a great choice.
Yes.
So
nobody was on no bullshit. Like everybody paid their weight. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
For sure.
So I don't think anybody gave a bad performance. So
things that bother you, Rachel, the whole film. School.
Why did he need Audrey to pay to get his car out?
That bothered me as well, but the only thing I could think of is that in my mind I thought maybe he had to surrender his license and wallet, but he obviously was able to drive off.
The jail part made sense. Like, obviously, I don't have my funds with me. Come bail me out.
Yeah.
But
for Greta.
The tow yard didn't make any sense.
That made zero sense.
Bro, you driving a Benz?
Yeah. You ain't got 1,400.
16, something like that. Yeah,
16.
whatever it was.
Something crazy.
He got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that bothers me. That's about it though.
Only thing I got, and it's kind of minor, the scene at the birthday party where Jerry's in the kitchen and he's talking to Audrey. They're talking about going to Boston, and he's talking about the special relationship that he had. Like, I can't. Audrey tells him I can't go because, Fletcher and the special relationship they have when they get together. He's like, me and him have a special relationship too. And he kind of was questioning, like, what's the difference between me and him? I'm like, nigga, that's his dad.
That's his dad.
Like, why are you sitting here questioning why it's different? I know he's a terrible dad.
I was just gonna say.
But what I'm saying is the fact that that's not as a man, I'm sure as a stepdad, whatever, you still respect the fact that this is still his father. Like, I'm not expecting this to be an easy, let me just fly across the country without there being some kind of conversation. Even if I tell you the whole time, like, he trash and this is how it's gonna go down. Even if I say that, some kind of rebuttal is coming back.
Right? 100%. Let me ask this. Rich asked the other person without children, would you date a woman with kids?
That's throwing me. That's throwing me. A kid, absolutely.
Okay.
It depends on what the situation's like and all that.
Okay.
That's just it'd be different if I had my own kid or two already.
Yeah.
I'd even hesitate. Like, I'd be quick on my Alicia Keys, Mashonda shit. But I think that since I don't, it's hard to. I'm not the stepping up part, because that's a full time. I'm the type of dude that would do that. Like, I take that seriously. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm dating your moms and you just around. Like, nah, nigga, I'm stepping up in whatever role you need me to be, respectfully. You get what I'm saying? Respectfully. I don't want to step on nobody's toes if dad's still around. But if they ain't, I'm gonna be that. Like, I want to be that. So I don't know.
So with Fletcher's situation, he around, but is he?
Yeah, if I'm Jerry, I'm definitely dating her, like Audrey. Okay. That's not an issue.
Okay.
But you ain't gonna be as corny. That was his problem.
Fletcher would hate me.
Jerry was corny, so
yeah,
it was easy for Fletcher for real to get back in there. Yeah. Like, he was super corny.
Yeah, Fletcher. Ain't no way she getting back with Fletcher. We would have been in Boston first, but we ain't going to Boston, Chicago, or some shit. But
yeah.
Get out of there, man. Audrey ain't thinking about Fletcher after she with me.
What about you, School? I mean, I know to a degree, but
oh yeah, because I am a stepdad, so for sure.
You the dad that stepped up.
Yeah,
dad that stepped up.
Nah, man, she was really acting like, or he was really acting like Fletcher was Rodney and Baby Boy. Like, he didn't care about his son at all.
Right.
Even though that wasn't his son, but y'all get what I'm saying. Yeah. Come see about me. Rachel, you gotta appreciate this. Might be the coldest come see about me ever. That nigga got on the fucking runway.
That was for his child.
He got
that was primarily.
That was for both of them.
Primarily. I appreciate a gallant effort.
What you mean, gallant? Hey, you
gallant.
You feel me? What? He throwing stones at the pilot, Rachel.
Man, please.
Well, it wasn't solely for me.
Yeah. Even if it's for your child, that doesn't move you anyway.
Yes,
it does. Man, next child.
Am I lying? I mean, it was
taking out to come see about me. If this don't do it, we take it out the category.
No. I have ample come see about me scenarios and situations. It was a valiant effort to win her and her son and their child back. So yes, this qualifies. But I do have to deduct points because it wasn't solely about me. You wasn't even sure.
She said valiant effort, like he got silver in the Olympics or some shit. This nigga had 2 broken legs. You know what?
Next.
Rachel, you a tough piece of work.
I am.
He said,
I love the self-awareness.
It's very hard work over here.
I'm hard to get along with too, man. I'm hard to deal with too. So I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh man.
Like, you didn't take all of that. Well, you had to get this far. So then I'm a little unappreciative too. So like, oh, you did all of that. Why? That's dumb. not to take care of you. Are you crazy?
You
To nurse you back to health. Unpack all these fucking boxes that we was just gonna move to Boston. You're creating more work. Are you crazy?
And a lot of the shit she was doing was out of spite for Fletcher.
That was it. That was it. So now you're making a fool out of me?
Yeah, that was
because I'm just doing shit. Are you crazy?
Are you marrying this guy? I divorced you. I was mad at you. Like, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Let me pause because this was a thing that bothered me. How he only couldn't lie for one day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker, this Boston conversation, we leaving tonight?
Well, I believe they were leaving to look at houses or something.
It don't matter. We leaving today to go? You just asked me this. You didn't already have a flight picked out. She said, if you don't show up, we're getting on the plane. Nigga, this is a last minute ticket.
Remember, she said it just took a violent push into Sirius.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your actions is making me
another sign that it was out of spite.
Yeah, 100%. Just doing shit.
Mm-hmm.
As somebody just be doing shit, I get it. I get it, but not with my child that I don't have. So
straight up, man. I love that category because it just woke Rachel up.
Mm-hmm.
Any actors from The Wire?
Yes,
my man. You caught him too, man.
Yeah,
Michael Kostroff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
he is a conference room attorney named Tom. He's the one that Fletcher was all in his
brown
face.
Nose,
brown nose. Your head so far up his ass. I don't know where you in, and he begins. He plays Maurice Levy on The Wire, a real scumbag of an attorney.
Yeah,
good at his job. He's an awful character and human being.
Yeah,
in The Wire. When I say awful, I mean he acted his ass off, and he made us feel that way about him.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he's in The Wire. So we on the road with these Wire actors, man. I'm loving it. I didn't have it. I know soundtrack's a category, but one thing I did want to mention, it goes back to the beginning. I meant to say this earlier. This was a change of pace film for Jim Carrey. Like Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura. Very over the top, obviously goofy characters. Part of the score in this film, like the piano that you hear in the beginning, is kind of to set that tone to the audience. Like, this is a softer movie.
Yeah.
Softer, kind of more realistic film. So I love stuff like that when films play those little tricks with you, especially with score, to kind of tell you how you're supposed to feel. So I wanted to mention that. Wouldn't let that happen to me. I already mentioned mine. Y'all got anything?
No.
Okay. School, what kind of trivia you got for us?
At the beginning of the movie, this is the first time the Imagine Entertainment logo was used on the movie. Shout out to Brian Grazer and Ron Howard, because that's their entertainment company. The very beginning of the movie is a Chris Darden cameo. You know who Chris Darden is. If you don't know, look him up. I ain't going into it. Amanda Donahue, she's an English actress, so she definitely did her thing. I didn't hear it. Let me see.
I didn't know she was an English actress.
Nah, that's it. That's all I got.
The Claw was inspired by Jim Carrey's real dad. That's something his dad used to do to entertain or him and his siblings. So it was very personal to him in the film. Jim Carrey really beat himself up in that bathroom scene. Other than like a couple of the punches, a lot of those sound effects, when his head or his body is hitting an item, there's no sound effects used. That's him really doing it. They actually toned that scene down because it was a lot more violent. Like, he was dragging his head across the radiator, all types of stuff. So in order to make sure they preserve their PG-13, they toned a lot of stuff down in that.
Yeah, he didn't fucking kill himself.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that Tom Shadyac was mentioning about Jim Carrey, like his pain tolerance and just his flexibility, the way his body bends and stretches. He specifically pointed out the scene when the partner had sex with him and she bit his lip and dragged him. Like, he asked her to do that and she wouldn't do it. Look at it.
All right.
Shit. But he asked him to do that. But anyway, that's how Jim Carrey get down. He wanted to approach this role like Gary Cooper, the strong silent type. If you are a Sopranos fan, you get that reference. Shout out to Maurice and Spike, who do the Good Earner Sopranos podcast. I think they even had the pilot episode was Tony Soprano mentioned Gary Cooper, the strong silent type, and there's an episode titled that. So I just wanted to shout that out for all the Soprano fans. Fire Marshal Bill, classic, famous character from A Living Color, made a cameo in this film. It's at the very end of the film when they're in the airport or at the, the airway, and Fire Marshal Bill's in the back as one of the firefighters. So a lot of people missed that cameo. Tom Shadyac even said, we showed this screening countless times and nobody picked up that was Fire Marshal Bill in the back. But it's very subtle. It's really, if you blink, you miss it. So you got to pay attention, like a little Easter egg. There's a tongue-in-cheek reference to Jim Carrey when he's talking to Max, and Max is asking him, like, he said, you got to tell the truth. And he's asking him those questions. He said, if I make my face like this, will it get stuck that way? He said, no. He said, matter of fact, a lot of people make a good living that way. That was a shot at himself for being goofy as hell. The case that Greta talks about her friend and the burglar, is based on the case Bodine versus Enterprise High School. March 1st, 1982, around 1 a.m., a former student named Rick Earl Bodine trespassed onto the school to steal spotlights off the roof. And after removing the first one, going for the second one, he fell, and it resulted in brain damage from the 27-foot fall, which initially left him mute and quadriplegic. So the state declined to prosecute him for breaking in. As they said, the injuries are more punishment than anything you can get. And he had an attorney that sued the school district, and they won the case for $260,000.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Plus $1,500 a month for the rest of his life.
Hey, he had Fletcher Reed.
Yeah. So that story was based off a real life case. I'm gonna look that case up a little bit more to see how they won, because how you fell on your own accord, you try to steal, and so I don't know how that works.
No business here.
And the last thing that I had written down was Jim Carrey actually came up with the ending scene. They didn't know how to end this film, so the very last scene where Max makes the wish and then him and Audrey are kissing, Jim Carrey came up with that, called Tom Shadyac in the middle of the night. Tom Shadyac didn't think it would work, and then when he watched it, he was like, actually, that's one of the scenes that gets me. And they call it a Hollywood ending, of course. The whole family's back together, everybody's happy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So traditional Hollywood ending, wrapped it up. So I think we covered it. You got anything else you want to say about it?
Nah.
Rachel? I know you don't.
Yeah.
All right, then. Well,
I love this movie.
Dogging me this
shout out to Jim Carrey. Shout out to Jim Carrey.
Well, before we wrap it up officially, let's get to our last category. Too high, too low, just right. The average viewer rates this film 6.9 out of 10. I'll go first. School, you go last since it's your movie.
All right.
Too low, I'm going 7. Barely too low. I'm going 7.3. 7.3. 7.3. Rachel, what you got?
Too high, 6.
Too low. I got it as 8.
Got it as 8?
Yeah.
All right. 7.3, 8, and 6.
Yeah, there we go.
With that being said, School, you mentioned it, man. Shout out to Jim Carrey. Like that run I mentioned earlier, I mentioned Dumb and Dumber. Like I'm a super fan of Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Big fan of his work. I understand. Like I said, I came into this episode knowing Rachel and knowing her tolerance for goofy shit. So I'm not surprised by this reaction from her. But I do love getting the feedback, and obviously, School, I know you want to give the movie some love.
Yeah, I love how y'all love this. I'm dead ass serious. I laughed more in this hour we've been talking about this shit than the whole 88 minutes I watched the movie. I'm like, these niggas are silly. They really love this shit.
Yeah, it just really brings back.
Yeah,
like I told School, like his quotes, that nostalgic is just kind of kicks in. Like we watched this movie so many times, like growing up. So it's not just the movie; it's 1480 and it's 85, and it's just all those memories that come along with it. But the movie still is funny to me. Like it's a good 90s movie. Like it wasn't a chore to watch it. You know,
it wasn't. I'm sorry. Go ahead, School.
No, I was gonna say I definitely watched it 3 times. So it's my shit.
Yeah, I had about 1.5 in me. It wasn't a chore. It just was like, goddamn, I could be rewatching anything else.
Real quick. Let me ask you a question because I'm just thinking about this, and this is serious. I mentioned earlier how they don't make movies like this for the most part. Do you think that we are, especially with how much time has passed from the time you watched it last, Rachel, do you think we're conditioned now for a certain type of entertainment when it comes to film and comedy? Like we're absorbing so much drama, and storytelling has taken off tremendously from 97. You know what I mean? Do you think we're just not, our brains are maybe, for lack of better terms, too developed and maybe too sophisticated for comedy like this to enjoy it?
In part, yes.
Okay.
But I think that you touched on it earlier. I think that somebody younger will enjoy this the way that we did back in the day. I think a 10-year-old, you digitally remaster it. You don't even have to like get new actors, just clean it up, and turn it on. Somebody 10 growing up and who may have those feelings of, oh man, I was on a soup waiting on my daddy too yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
I think that they would think that this shit is funny.
Yeah.
But to your point, that slapstick, all of that at 36 is just not appealing to me. And I'm also turning into my mother. So do with that what you will. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's different because I do still enjoy a good comedy. Like, I'm the funniest nigga I know. I love a good laugh. So it's not that. I do want to see some shit that's going to make me laugh, cry, laugh, be weak, snot, and all of that other shit. But that particular brand is not necessarily for me.
Okay. I can't wait to do Soul Plane.
I won't be there. I look at these type of movies as a relax, let your brain relax, chill out for a second. You know what I mean? Because you're right. It's a lot of great writing, especially on TV. That's where you get it off now. It's TV. So this movie, like I said, I watched it 3 times because I enjoyed it, and most of it I knew. I can quote this movie as well. So it's my shit, man.
Cool. When we do Soul Plane, you not gonna join?
No, I won't be there.
Nigga.
Nah, you got to. That's your hate watch. You got to.
No, okay.
Yeah, you got to do a hate watch. That's what make it that funny. To me, I was listening to Jump in the Broom the other day, and I kind of weak at myself because I really don't like Jason. Like, I really was like, damn, I really don't like that nigga.
Or the movie.
Yeah. It was entertaining. Like, listen, because I didn't watch. That was my first time listening to that episode. And that's how much I disliked the movie.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, then, like, now I remember the conversation. Like, like, all right, I felt it building up as to like, damn, I really don't like Jason.
Yeah.
So you got to do Soul Plane. But for those of y'all out there, we appreciate you. If you are new, like I said, please subscribe. Whether it's our YouTube page, whether it's the podcast, we got y'all. We got y'all. We do got y'all, but we got y'all television feed as well. So subscribe to all 3 of those. We just knock Liar out. Like I said, every week, every Thursday, we're going to come with a new movie. We rotate them. Rachel's turn next week. So we don't tell y'all what we're doing until they drop. But hopefully you enjoyed this. With that being said, we will see y'all. Y'all be cool. How y'all be cool.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
That's correct.